Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I'm seeing some people joining. I decided to open the room a little bit earlier before we get started. Welcome, everyone, to our second edition of North Carolina Virtual Academy Meet and Greet. Um, my name is Andrea Wilson, and we will be getting started momentarily. Feel free to state your name and where you're coming from in the chat box, and we'll get started in a second. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, my name is Andrea as well. Awesome. I actually need to check. I just opened. I said Andrea Wilson. I recently got married, so it's really Covington. But that has not been changed yet. It's fresh out. I think I'm almost 2 weeks. Hi, hello, that's Vicky. Oh, thank you. Uh, awesome. Welcome, everyone, to our North Carolina Virtual Academy meet and greet. Again, if you're just joining, feel free to put your name in the chat box and where you're coming from, what part of the state. Great. In Charlotte. Hickory, Greensboro. Awesome. Snow Camp. Great. And got about 2 minutes. Caldwell County. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Right. I'm going to promote we have some staff as well that I'm going to give you all some ability to chat once we get later into the presentation. All right. From Burke County. Great. Awesome. Welcome. Let's see, did I think I have everyone? All right. I think we can go ahead and get started. All right. Again, my name is Andrea Covington, and this is our meet and greet for. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I move someone? 1 second. Okay. Again, this is our North Carolina Virtual Academy meet and greet. You'll be hearing from several of our staff at the school. But before I move to one of our academic administrators, I just wanted to give some housekeeping rules. Again, this event is for you all to learn a little bit more about one of our schools. So if you have a current application that is has already been submitted, we wouldn't be able to check statuses and things like that on this call. We really want to dedicate this time to be able to learn more about NCVA and find out, hear from our teachers and our staff. So if you have questions, you can submit those to recruiting at K12, and our dedicated recruiter will be able to answer those questions for you. We will be having a Q&A session at the end of this, so please feel free to leave your questions in the Q&A box. We'll be doing that later on in the webinar. And again, this event is being recorded. So if you're unable to stay for the entire time, we will be recording this and sending this out to everyone after we've finished. So here are some of our speakers. I know we'll have some other staff that will be helping out in the Q&A, but you will be mainly hearing from all of these wonderful people shortly. I am going to let Tasha Parnell go first, and just to introduce herself, and then after that, everyone can go ahead and just state their name and their title as well.
All right, well, good afternoon and welcome everyone. And we're so glad you took some time to come out and learn more about NCVA. So my name is Tasha Parnell. I've been at NCVA for, 8 years now, and I'm the high school academic administrator. And what I'll do is just have each person, panelist here, to just pop on real quick, say their name and what area they're in, and then we'll get into a little bit more detail. So if you could just pop up and just say your name and where you teach, that would be great. We'll start with Erin.
My name is Erin Talbert, and I am a high school social studies teacher. I've been here for 4 years.
Hi, I'm Kelly Brantling. I actually go by Jordan, and I teach 2nd grade ELA. This is my 2nd year.
Hi, my name is Chelsea Spiker. I teach 8th grade science, and I've been here for a little over a year.
Hi, my name is Kate Jane. I teach 7th grade EC, and I've been here for 2 years.
Hi, my name is Megan Queen. I am the recruiter for NCVA. I recruit for all of our schools in the Mid-Atlantic area, and I have been with Stride NCVA going on 5 years.
So thank you, everyone. So now what we're going to do is really the fun part. We're going to talk a little bit about our school before we hear from our individual teachers. So NCVA is a K-12 school. It is a public charter school through the state of North Carolina. We have approximately 150 teachers, including interventionists, instructional coaches, and remediation teachers. We have approximately 2,600 students, and those are kind of split out evenly, but we have a very large elementary school population. We have about 808 middle schoolers and 795 in our high school. And we have a special education population, about 350 students across all grade bands. So a couple of things that we want you to know about NCVA today is that our mission is to provide a quality education to students who may not fit in a traditional brick and mortar setting. And we've had great success with our students over the years. So when we talk about our high school, our graduation rate is fairly high, and we work really hard to get our students through high school and to graduation, which is the goal of that K-12 education. We are a 100% virtual school, and we do have students from just about every region in North Carolina, but of course we're available to any student in any county. Students are required to go to live daily Class Connect sessions. We call them Class Connect sessions, but class sessions. I think some people think that virtual means that the students just pop in occasionally when they have a question, but we require our students as well as our teachers to have live sessions, a bell schedule where students change classes every single day. And then we have a huge emphasis on community building and working with families, because we're not in their homes, we're not face-to-face. We do spend a lot of time engaging and building community with our families, so we can work together to make sure that students have a positive education experience. So just a couple things about us. We do provide school-wide professional development at least 3 times per year. Virtual and in person, so you get a lot of those CEUs. We provide them internally. Monthly, we do have in-person and virtual outings, either or, for students and staff. So we want to make sure that we work here, but we also want the students to have other opportunities to be able to have outings. We have virtual clubs, we have connection corners, as well as SEL groups. So we're dealing with the whole child, not just the content. We want to make sure that we're building community and opportunities for kids to get together and have fun with their peers. We do have an in-person middle school dance, And for our high school folks, we do have in-person prom and graduation, and it is always a blast to see the kids come together and celebrate at the end of the school year in that way. We do have those testing cycles because we are a school with the state of North Carolina. We're a public school, so we have to do testing, and those cycles are done virtually, and they're also done in person. So when you think of things like your EOCs and EOGs and ACT, those must be done in person. And so we do participate in all the same testing cycles as any other North Carolina school. So enough background information. Let's hear from our teachers. So we'll just go in the order that we started. And now we're going to have our teachers give us a little bit of a day in the life. So we're going to start with Ms. Talbert.
All right, so again, I teach high school social studies. So like a normal high school that you think of where the kids are rotating from class to class, this is what my morning looks like. So I teach 4 classes in a row from 8:15 till 12:15. So they're each an hour long. And I have a pretty small classroom, about maybe 22 to max of 27, 28 is my biggest class. And I teach the small group, and we interact and do everything that you think of in a normal classroom. We just happen to do it virtually. So we're reading together, we're discussing together, and going to breakout rooms and working in small groups as they figure things out and that kind of stuff. And just kind of normal high school classroom that you would think of, just virtually. So I do that until 12:15. And then after that, I have my lunchtime, take a break. And then I get into my planning time. I do planning, and I might call parents if I have a concern, or I want to tell them how great their kid is doing on something, or helping other colleagues with stuff. And then we also have a small group time in the afternoon for kids that we think could use a little extra help. So my time is from 3:15 to 4. I identify kids that I think could need a little bit extra help. I want to make sure they're successful. And so they come to a small group and work one-on-one with me, or in a small group of, 3 or 4 with me, to make sure that they're understanding everything they need. And so daily, that's kind of my whole day schedule. Extra things we're doing, or I might do throughout the week. We're always answering emails and things like that. We don't have a ton of staff meetings, which is kind of nice. We leave Wednesday afternoons for staff meetings, but there's not one every Wednesday. And meeting with my PLC every couple weeks. And the one thing that I like a lot is that we also meet with our administrators. So that would be Tasha for me. We meet with them one-on-one every other week, and it's a really great time to really dig into questions I have, things that I want to work on and grow in, talking about things they've seen in my class and suggestions and that kind of stuff, and a lot of support, more support than I've had at any other school. And so that's something that we get to have as part of our schedule every other week too. So that's kind of what my normal week looks like.
Thanks, Erin. All right, Jordan, you want to go next?
Yes. Okay. So I teach 2nd grade ELA. My day starts at 8 and goes until 4. From 8 to 8:30, I am able to just get my sessions set up, make sure that all the slides and tabs that I want pulled up for the day are ready to go, respond to emails, just take care of like the business side of things. Then from 8:30 to 12:45, I teach classes. Some days I teach only 3 classes. Some days I teach up to 5 classes, 45 minutes each, with about 15 to 25 kids in each session. The reason I only teach some classes 3 days a week is based upon instructional needs. So I have some groups that meet 3 days a week, some that meet 4 days a week, and then some groups that meet 5 days a week. I have a 30-minute break during that time, which is a great time for me to grab a snack or run to the restroom, switch over laundry, something, because we are working from our homes. And I also get an hour lunch, which is super nice for getting in kind of like a quick workout, getting things set up, kind of getting a brain break before I take on my afternoon responsibilities. In the afternoon, I plan with my team twice a week. We also meet with our instructional coaches, which is nice to get a fresh set of eyes on our plans, our instructional strategies. Sometimes we are responding to emails, making connection calls, planning fun sessions with our kids to connect outside of the classroom. because Tasha said earlier, we have that strong emphasis on building relationships. And then monthly, I've also taken on a club for animal lovers so that our kindergarten through second graders can come in and get to know each other, hang out outside of their normal classes, and kind of create those relationships with one another. There's also lots of opportunities to grow here at NCVA. So you can have just those responsibilities, but you can also take on some leadership roles like letters training and summer camp and grade level chair and things like that. So it's a good time.
Thanks so much, Jordan. All right, so let's hear about that middle school.
All right. So like I said earlier, my name is Chelsea Spiker. I teach 8th grade science. So I'm at the higher end of the middle school, but so I'm going to speak for everybody, like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I feel like middle school is such a pivotal time for students, as I think a lot of you can agree. We get those fundamentals from elementary school and then help build them for high school as well. So my day, it's never a dull day in middle school. I will say that. It's never a dull day. I teach 4 classes a day. I have 2, they're all 40-minute class periods. I teach 2. I get a 40-minute planning period. And then I teach the other 2 up until about 11:55 a.m. every morning. It's like I said, middle school is such a pivotal time. So working with these students, their stories that they tell you, the biggest thing I was worried about was building relationships with these students when I first came to NCVA. And I will tell you that's not a problem. That's not a problem. I just met some of them at the zoo the other week, hugs and everything, telling me a million stories. So it's so worth it. And then in the afternoon, I get an hour for lunch. So, I take my dog on a walk, get myself out of the chair, because let me tell you, I get tired of sitting after a while. And then in the afternoons are dedicated to working with these students, helping them with anything that they need. We do WIN sessions, so it's what I need. And, we've been focusing since 8th grade science is a tested subject. We really are pushing for it. And it's just a good way to also spend more time with these students, because we only get 40 minutes a class period a day. So it's really awesome that we can spend even more time with a lot of these students. And some days I also run 2 clubs, the National Junior Honor Society and a Harry Potter club, which they absolutely love. And like I said, with NCVA, you are welcomed with open arms. I can't speak enough for Katie Gomersall. She was our principal before she became the head of NCVA. And then Christina Rodriguez, who is our head of the middle school. I can't, speak enough about those 2. They welcomed me, and I'm sure everybody else, with open arms. Anytime I have an issue or, anything, I can ask Christina for help. We meet every other week for one-on-ones. And our PLCs for science, I'll be honest, we meet every day just because we get along so well, but we have to meet at least once a week. So like I said, middle school, it's a lot of fun. We're so excited for the middle school dance. The kids can't wait. And it's just a fun journey in middle school. I can't speak highly enough about it.
All right, well, thank you. So now we're going to see the department.
Do you kind of cut off? Did you say EC?
Special programs, yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
So my name is Kate Jane, and I'm 7th grade EC. I focus on ELA. I work with another EC teacher in the 7th grade, and she focuses on math. So, but of course, we work together helping with all subjects. But my day is I spend the morning doing inclusion in the English classes. And so I have a co-teacher, and we co-teach the English lessons. I do from 8:15 until about 12 o'clock is, you know, we do have a 45-minute planning period in there. And so that is the time, you know, when I can catch up on, I usually use it to catch up on stuff or to prepare for lessons that I have later on in the day, reply to emails, something like that. After the 12 o'clock session is over, we do have an hour lunch. And so, which is nice, like everybody else said, it's wonderful. But in the afternoons is when we do more of our EC stuff. And so afternoons we have small groups. We have we teach, my small groups that I teach are reading, writing, social skills, and behavior class, and like an academic organization class. And so what I do is I focus on, in reading and writing, we focus on their IEP goals. And, you know, so we work on stuff that we may not always get to focus on in the classroom with our teacher, but we go ahead and I'm able to focus with them and kind of pinpoint more their IEP goals and everything that they're working on, take my data, see where they're still struggling, and even help them with assignments that they have in English class. We usually do that for about an hour a week in each subject. I also have my academic class is for students who have IEP goals related to keeping up with their work or staying organized with their work. And so we literally go over every assignment that they have due that week, and I check up on them and I'm say, hey, you finished this assignment, you didn't finish this assignment, you still need to finish this, you know, whatever. And then I meet with them one-on-one to show them what they need to do. And that really helps them to stay caught up where they're supposed to. In our social skills class, we do a lot of learning about emotions and getting to know each other and how to talk to people, you know, and stuff. And so it's fun. I love it. When my small groups are over, is my IEP time. So I usually schedule my IEPs from about 2 to 3-ish, 2 to 4, depending. And so, but one thing that I really enjoy about NCVA is the fact that I do have time to work on IEPs during my school day. And so I'm not out there. I don't have to come home from school, you know, every day or from work and sit there and spend my nights writing IEPs. There I have a time, and it's great to have that. And Miss Stacy Bryant and Shanna Cater are wonderful. They will answer any questions that I have. They are very supportive. And if we ever run into a situation where we're having an issue with, you know, a student or a parent or something, they are always there to have our backs and to help us get through it.
Well, thank you all for sharing a little bit about your teaching experience here at NCVA. And our panelists will be here later on if you have questions. So just a couple of things. Is this my slide or is this Megan?
I think it was yours.
All right, so let's talk about it. So all of our teachers are 100% North Carolina certified in their content areas. That's part of our charter. So if you see a position for English, make sure that you're, you know, certified in high school English before you apply, because that is a requirement. We do offer full benefits, which would include medical, dental, and life insurance, very much like what the state provides for their teachers. Our 401k plan does come with a corporate match, and we do have this wonderful virtual mentor teacher support program. And no matter how long you've been teaching, if you're a new teacher at NCVA, you're a part of this mentor support program. And we have found that people are like, I've never been so welcomed and had so much support, because it is different and we use a lot of different systems, but we make sure that we have you covered in supplying you with a lead teacher mentor that kind of works with all the teachers, as well as a mentor within your grade band and hopefully your content area who can support you. And then we also provide K-12 professional development throughout the year that supports your licensure, so you can get those CEUs in-house and not have to pay for those. So with that in mind, I am going to turn it over to Megan to tell you a little bit more about the hiring process.
Thanks, Tasha. So I am the recruiter with NCVA. Like I was saying, I've been with K-12 Stride for about 5 years now. So the first step, if you are interested in joining our team, is to visit our website. The website is www.stridelearning.com/careers, and be sure to select the teaching and academic jobs section. Once you go to that section, filter it by state. If you type in North Carolina, and then also the area that you are looking for that you're certified in, you will see all of the available positions. You are encouraged to apply for multiple positions if you are certified in that area and wish to go ahead and teach those. Once you apply, you will be asked to create an account with us and submit your application. I will review your application, make sure that the certification is up to date, make sure that all those boxes are kind of checked. After that, if you are moving on to the next step, it's going to be a HireVue interview. It will consist of 4 questions in which the question is prompted up on your screen, and you will be recording a video answer of yourself. The hiring team has access to that video, and once it's completed, they get the notification. They can go in, review it. And if the team wishes to move forward from that stage, you will be invited to either a phone interview or a Zoom interview, some sort of digital face-to-face interview. After that step, if the team wishes to move forward, then an offer will be submitted, and I will be reaching out with all of those details. So that is our hiring process up to date right now. All of our positions that are posted right now are for next school year. What we say is check every day. You can also sign up for an alert. Positions are posted as the need comes up. And we never know when a position might be there that would be within your certification, something that interests you.
Thanks, Megan. Now we've come to the Q&A portion of our webinar. There is a Q&A box that is either you have a black bar that's at the top of your screen or below your screen, but feel free to put any questions in there. From there we can answer those questions for you through the box. I'm just double checking to make sure there wasn't anything in the chat as well. Okay. All right. Okay, I do see one question. Someone is asking about the pay scale. And I'm not sure if Megan or if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. I can dive right in. So we do have a pay scale. We do take into consideration years of experience, degrees earned, things like that when making the salary recommendation and offering that to you. So also just keep in mind that we are a little bit different than brick and mortar schools within the state of North Carolina. So that's something just to consider.
You can feel free to put your questions in the QA box. Questions?
I can share as we're getting questions from a special education perspective. We do use ECATS, which is our state system to write IEPs. So that's similar, and we still follow all policies and procedures by the state of North Carolina. So none of that is different. Just the delivery looks a little different in this environment, but we have students that get the whole spectrum of services to very minimal to we have students on the adaptive curriculum that get 100% of their instruction. The caseload of students per teacher really depends on the grade band, and it depends on the subject area. Our adaptive teachers that teach the entire curriculum have somewhere between 10 and 12. Elementary, I think the average is maybe 18 to 22, somewhere in there. And high school is a little different too, because they departmentalize. just like middle school. So you have a certain number of caseload or students on your caseload that's manageable, maybe 20 to 22 that you manage the cases, but they're being provided, the services are being provided by whoever's serving that population, whether it be Math 1, English 2, Foundations Math. It looks different in high school.
Just to add to that, I would say that the numbers are very comparable to brick and mortar. It's not overwhelming.
Someone asked about or I guess a follow-up from the pay scale question and how it compares to state pay scale. I guess I can address that back to Megan.
Yeah, absolutely. So our starting salary, the very bottom of the range is $42,000. And like I was saying, it does go up with your years of experience and those degrees earned. And then Jay, I see another question about that digital interview. So if you completed the digital interview and you have not heard back, you are more than welcome to email us. You can email myself and I can give you an update on that. My email is mpayne@k12.com. We typically say, give our team about 2 weeks once you complete that interview, just so that they have time to review all of the interviews that the candidates completed and schedule their interviews and things like that. But if you have not heard, feel free to reach out and I can definitely give you an update.
As far as jobs, someone's asking, do we keep resumes on file just in case jobs arise?
We have all of your applications will be stored in our database. And then we are also using a new program. It's called Beamery, in which all of your information, I believe, carries over from this webinar into there. So all of your information is definitely stored on there. And it's easy to search. If we have an opening for, let's say, a high school math teacher and you meet the criteria, then it would pop up if we were to go ahead and search for that. I think also when you are with Beamery, you get job alerts. So if there's something that pops up within that meets the requirements that you state, you'll get an email notifying you to say, hey, go ahead and apply for this position. It's opening up.
Any other questions? I don't see any right now, but again, feel free to put any. Oh, someone's asking, is this a year-round school or on a traditional school schedule? Question.
So I would say I mean, the school is not a year-round school. So it's on a traditional, our students come in August and then, we're done first week in June. It kind of varies from year to year, but we're done about the first, second week of June. So that's the same schedule that you would see in most of the traditional brick and mortars for students. We do have, professional development time and teacher time at the beginning, end of the year, but the students are there on more of a traditional schedule. So yeah, we're not year round.
I don't see any other questions, but I will pose this to the panel. If there was any final thoughts or anything else that you would like to share, feel free to hop on the mic.
I'll share one more thing. One thing that for me, if you have taught in a brick and mortar school or you're currently there, teacher burnout is very real. And the shift to teaching virtually gave me a lot of my joy back for teaching, because my lesson plans and my grades and my team meetings and our staff meetings all are part of my workday. So my family gets their time back, and it just made me a happier teacher.
To kind of piggyback on what Jordan said too, as I said before, I feel like we're more supported at the school than any place else I've ever been. They treat you like humans, not teacher robots. And that's can be difficult to find sometimes. I've seen in brick and mortars. And just really care about growing you. The mentor program and professional development that they do in-house or offer for you to do outside of house, or getting master's degrees and everything. It's just so many different kinds of support available to everybody that I never saw in other places before, and I've been so thankful just becoming a way better teacher than I ever thought I could be in brick and mortar, just in general.
There's a question about substitutes, and so if someone wants to address it, they can, but if not, I'll jump in. But you really don't need to have a substitute because everything's recorded. And so what happens if you have a doctor's appointment is you record your lesson and you give your students an assignment, and for that hour that day when they would have been meeting with you, they're assigned to go and work on that independently. So everything is recorded anyway. Live sessions are recorded, but that's what we do. I mean, obviously if there's an extended period of time, it's a little bit different. But just for doctor's appointments or days off, that is something that we're able to do that you really aren't able to do in the brick and mortar building. So you're your own substitute. You just have to prepare something in advance for your kids.
But imagine not having to panic and write out everything that needs to be done for somebody else to come in and do. You put up a recording, you send them an announcement, or you send them a thing to do. It's significantly less stressful when you're sick compared to brick and mortar.
And with that being said, we do, like Tasha said, if you have a maternity leave or an illness that causes someone to be out, we do have, we're always on the lookout for subs. So if you want to just be a substitute, whether that be in special education, whether that be in the general classroom, we certainly have a need for that as well.
I had someone ask about the curriculum in the Q&A.
It's kind of different for everyone. Would one of the other aides like to jump in and talk a little bit about curriculum? Because I think each grade band kind of has their own thing going on in a way. We do get our curriculum for K-12, but I think it might be a little bit different. So would somebody like to jump in and talk about curriculum?
I can talk to it for elementary, Tasha. So in the elementary school, we do get our core curriculum from Stride K-12, and all of our students have an online school account, and that's where their curriculum is. So they have lessons each day in every one of their subjects. And then on the teacher's end, you are preparing your lessons. Most of our teachers use PowerPoints and then some interactive outside platforms to engage the students, but you're preparing your lesson to piggyback on what they're learning in online school, and also to ensure that we are aligned with the state content, the state standards, and that there's no gaps in between. So it's a little bit of both. You do have a curriculum, but it's not like in brick and mortar where it's scripted and you're following it word for word. You have a lot of freedom to plan and be creative in the content that you're delivering live to those kiddos.
And if I can add in there, because Vicki, I think I saw that you were EC. So just in for EC, like for me, whenever I work with the inclusion classes, whether it's with math or it's English or whatever subject I'm doing, I meet with them weekly in order to plan what we're doing that week. So they give me a heads up on what they're going to be teaching and the lessons that are going on that week, so that I'm prepared and I can modify or I can do anything like that if I need to. As far as my small groups go that I work with in the afternoons, I focus on their IEP goals, and I see, where the students are struggling, what their IEP goals are, and what I need to focus on. And I also try to stick along close to what the teachers are teaching in class. That way, they're kind of getting more of they're getting more, of the lesson and stuff, so that they can understand it. And maybe we go over it a little bit slower and I explain it a little bit more. So that's just coming from the EC perspective.
I can touch base, just kind of what Kelly said as far as elementary, middle school is kind of the same. We do use the OMS and we follow that format, and that curriculum is provided to you, but we also use a lot of Classkicks and Nearpods in class to make it very interactive and fun for the students, but for the teacher too. You're kind of chunking it out, so you're not really teaching the same scripted material like you kind of do in a brick and mortar to some extent. You have a little bit more freedom and flexibility. We also have dedicated curriculum specialists that are also here to help you create that curriculum, or, you know, assist you if you have any changes or anything else that you need there as well.
Did we cover each elementary?
I didn't talk
Hi.
about high school, but it is
Oh,
very
okay.
similar to middle. So, I mean, it's the same thing. I think in high school, in trying to have many electives and many different options, because that's what high school is for us to explore our options. The teachers might do a little bit more curriculum building on their own. We have curriculum specialists for for English and math, but we don't for science and social studies in our electives. So those teachers do a little bit more of the curriculum creation with the K-12 tools, the curriculum provided, but a lot of time aligning it to the state standards. So you do have some freedom there and some flexibility in those courses. Also, because they're not the EOC tested subjects, but the teachers do spend a little bit more time working on those to make sure that they're NC driven in terms of what it is that the standards we're covering and things we're doing our students in class.
And someone asked, do you use Canva or another learning management system? I'm assuming
That's like
any of them.
Neuro. She means, yeah, we don't use.
No, we don't use Canva. We don't use Canvas. We use our proprietary systems to K-12. It's similar to Canvas in that, you know, everything's kind of loaded into a system. You set your due dates and deadlines and you roll with. You can have your announcements. You can have your, you know, assignments that are do your test quizzes. So we have something similar to that, but it is proprietary to K-12. So and it's called well, we call it just the online learning system. It doesn't have its own little cute name. So that's what it's called. But yeah, if you know how to use Canvas or those systems, you'd be able to manage, and you'll certainly be trained on how to use the system that we do use.
And just to add in there, they do train you on that very well. And so don't think that they're just going to give you like a 30-minute training and then throw you in there. It's a good amount of training that you're going to get.
Yeah, I saw the question about differentiation in small groups. So even the gen ed teachers do have some small groups, like they were talking about, you know, getting those small groups together of students that need extra instruction. We have remediation teachers who are just like giving that extra layer of instruction. We do have the MTSS interventionists, and then we also have the special education. So there's different levels of support and instruction. Differentiation in the classroom is challenging sometimes, but we work really hard to manipulate what we can in the online system, but really diversify what we're presenting in the live classroom. Like Kate said, you know, she will try to modify the assignment so that her kids can access or provide accommodations for her, you know, maybe she's going to read that out loud to them or something like that. But yeah, we have a wide variety of students that have special needs and don't have special needs that are identified that get a differentiated sort of assignment or lesson. And one thing I will say, when I came to NCVA, I was kind of like, wow, virtual all day long. I'm kind of going to miss seeing my people. I feel like I have almost a better connection with my team and my people because we make a point to get together when we can. When we do those professional developments, you know, we get to go out to dinner together and you get to have some social time too. But then we also, you know, meet virtually. And I will say, I feel like the teachers and administrators work together more in this environment than I ever saw in a brick and mortar. I feel like that relationship is stronger.
Any other questions from our attendees? If not, I will. If not, I do want you all to, if you have other questions about positions, or if you're wanting to apply for roles, again, we do have the website listed on the screen, as well as we're on all social media platforms. And of course, any other questions if you think of something after we've ended our webinar today. I do want to thank all of our staff from North Carolina Virtual Academy for joining us today and just sharing what it's like teaching there, and also just answering questions that were had today. Again, this session was recorded. We'll be sending this out to everyone later this week. And again, my name is Andrea Covington, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.